The rain began to fall just as I stepped out of the house. The sound was sharp against the roof, a cold rhythm that matched the pulse pounding in my ears. Our living room light spilled faintly through the curtains, golden and soft, but I could not bear to look back. Inside, she stood frozen, her arms crossed, her face pale. For months, silence had filled the spaces where laughter once lived. She stopped looking at me, stopped touching me, stopped caring, or so it seemed. The air in the house had grown thick, like it resented us both for staying. Tonight, I had finally said it. I told her I was done begging for her affection. Her lips trembled, but no words came. Only her eyes moved, wide and startled, like she had never expected me to mean it. I grabbed my keys, my hands shaking as I slipped on my jacket. The smell of her perfume lingered near the door. It was once my favorite scent. Now, it made me sick. The driveway shimmered with puddles as I walked to the car. Each step felt heavier, each breath sharper. I opened the car door and sat for a moment, my reflection in the glass faint and unfamiliar. The rain grew louder, beating against the windshield like impatient fingers. I could still hear her voice echoing in my head, the excuses, the apologies that meant nothing, the dismissive laughs when I tried to explain how lonely it felt to sleep beside her. I started the engine, but I did not drive. Not yet. Instead, I watched the house through the blur of the rain. A shadow moved near the window, her silhouette. She stood there, still, unmoving, watching me. And then something strange happened. The front door opened. She stepped out barefoot, her white nightgown clinging to her skin. The rain soaked her hair flat against her face. She called my name once, but her voice was lost in the storm. I rolled down the window. Her eyes met mine, and for the first time in months, I saw fear. Not anger, not pride, fear. "You cannot just walk away," she said, her voice trembling. I looked at her, my jaw tight, my chest heavy. "I am not begging anymore," I said. Then I drove off. The road was slick, the headlights slicing through sheets of water. Every sound was amplified. The hiss of tires, the engine's hum, the echo of my heartbeat. But as I turned the corner, something in my mirror caught my eye. A figure at the edge of the street, still, watching. It was her. She wasn't moving. I slowed down, unease crawling up my spine. She was staring directly at me, even as the distance grew. The rain made her seem like a ghost, her white gown glowing faintly under the streetlight. And then she smiled. Not the warm smile I once knew. It was faint, crooked, wrong. My stomach tightened. I pressed the accelerator and drove faster, leaving the neighborhood behind. The rain followed me, relentless. When I finally reached the old motel by the highway, I parked under the flickering sign. The letters buzzed, half dead, spelling only T-E-L. Inside, the lobby smelled of damp carpet and stale cigarettes. I signed the ledger with a shaking hand and took the key. Room 6. The walls inside were yellowed with age. A single bulb flickered weakly overhead. I sat on the bed, soaked and cold, trying to steady my breath. But something felt off. I glanced at the window. Water streaked down the glass in uneven trails, and for a second, just a second, I thought I saw her reflection, standing outside, watching. I blinked hard. She was gone. I exhaled, forcing myself to lie back on the bed. The sheets smelled of bleach. I turned on the small lamp beside me. The light buzzed, then dimmed. A noise came from the bathroom, soft, like a drip, or a whisper. I stood slowly, the floorboards creaking under my feet. The sound grew louder, a rhythmic tapping. I pushed open the bathroom door. The mirror was fogged over. The faucet was dry, but there, on the mirror's surface, words were written in the condensation. You said I would face the consequences. My throat closed. The window behind me rattled from the wind, but I did not move. The handwriting. It was hers. Slowly, I backed away, my pulse thundering in my ears. Then the lights went out. The room fell into blackness. I heard the rain stop. Silence swallowed everything, and in that silence, I heard her voice. Soft and close, too close, whispering behind me. I already have. My breath caught. The air was cold against my neck. I turned around. Nothing. Only darkness. I stumbled backward, reaching for the lamp, for light, for anything. When it flickered back to life, the mirror was clean. The words were gone. But on the wet floor, a single footprint remained, bare, small. Hers. The same ones that had walked barefoot into the rain, the same ones I thought I had left behind. I stared at the print, the sound of my heartbeat filling the room. And for the first time, I wondered, had I left her, or had she followed me? The next morning came gray and silent. The rain had stopped, but the air still smelled of it. I packed my things quickly, eager to leave. The motel clerk handed back my deposit, her eyes tired. You sure you were alone last night? She asked. I froze. Why? She hesitated, glancing over my shoulder. Because, she said slowly, the cameras showed 2 people checking in. I turned toward the door, my breath catching in my throat. Outside, the pavement was dry, except for a single trail of wet footprints leading away from room 6. I followed them until they vanished near the edge of the road. The silence was heavy, the world still. And in that stillness, I finally understood. Some consequences don't wait to be faced. They follow you. They always do.